Hello, my Pixel peeps. Nicole Payne, CMA, here as always to drop some accounting truth bombs. And we are coming near to the end of our budgeting mini series. Today, we are jumping into the cash budget. So, if you've been following along, so far we have covered your sales budget, your cost of goods sold budget, your selling and administrative budget, and your payroll budget. And all of those should be interconnected to create a budgeted P&L for the year. And this is our starting point for our cash budget, because your cash budget is going to factor in that net income from your budgeted P&L. So what you're going to do for your cash budget is you're going to start out with a few lines below your P&L, and you're going to list out all of the things that you pay for throughout the year that don't hit your P&L. You might be thinking, well, if I pay for something out of the business, shouldn't it hit my P&L? Not directly. So things like purchasing large assets, whether it's furniture or equipment or vehicles or anything that would be considered a long-term investment, that hits your balance sheet, but it may or may not actually be hitting your cash balance. So you have to think about those things. Other things that you'll want to think about when you are talking about your cash budget is payments towards principal of debt, because that principal is on your balance sheet. It's going to reduce your cash, but it's not going to reduce your net income. Any distributions that you're paying to owners, whether it's dividends or anything that's not going through payroll, those things need to be accounted for as part of your cash budget. So once you've thought about all of these things that you pay for regularly that don't hit your P&L, you list them all out. You list out when you pay them. So maybe you pay out distributions to the owners every quarter. So you'll want to put those cash distributions in the month where you will actually pay them for that particular quarter. And then this is where things get a little fun and a little bit tricky. So once you have all of these expenses that you are paying that aren't actually hitting your P&L because they're not true taxable expenses, then you take your beginning cash balance, you add your net income number, you subtract out the total of all of these expenses that aren't hitting your P&L, and that should give you your projected ending cash balance for each particular month across the year. And if at any point during the year that ending cash balance goes negative, you got a problem, because you can't have negative cash, right? We all know that you can't pay things if you don't have the money to pay for things. So that's when you have to start thinking about creative financing. So if you're planning to purchase equipment, maybe instead of paying cash, you think about financing it, taking out a loan. Maybe your cash flow is really good most of the year, but you just have that one slow month where you're going to go negative, and it's not a huge amount. But maybe you can talk with your bank and take out a line of credit. Just be careful that when you do finance equipment or take out additional debt, you'll have to factor in the additional interest on that debt as part of your P&L. So these budgets are all interconnected, and if you build your spreadsheets correctly, which is why I always say build it in a spreadsheet instead of trying to do it on a piece of paper. If you build your spreadsheets correctly, as you make changes in one area of the budget, it will automatically filter down and it will populate all of the cells correctly, and your ending budget balances will all tie out. Anyway, that was a quick and dirty overview of the cash budget and the things that you need to think about. Of course, if you have any problems when you're doing your budget, I'm happy to help, and I would be more than happy to over your spreadsheets, look over your numbers, and see if there's any areas where I think you may have forgotten something, or if your math isn't adding up right. Always happy to be that second set of eyes. So my contact information is at the end of this video, and until next time, take care, everybody.